welcome to Lauren Queries, where I answer your queries about querying whilst I query my debut novel in the query trenches. If that intro is not good for marketing, then I don't know what is. Today, we're talking about comp titles, comparison titles. So if you're thinking of putting a book out there and maybe you've written the synopsis, you've written the query letter, you've probably come across these. So Fable at the End of the World might be described as The Last of Us meets something like The Hunger Games. Fable at the End of the World is a mixture between those two books, and that's what the comparison titles show you. So really good at illustrating either what the book's about, or they can be really good for things like tone. Some basic rules of thumb might be, don't choose something too old. So we want to aim for books that have been published in the last 5 years or so. Anything older than that, we wouldn't really compare to, I wouldn't suggest comparing to, but also I'm not published, so what do I know? If you're querying for adult fantasy, we're not going to be comparing to things in children's or young adult. That's actually quite difficult. I really struggled with that originally. And don't just focus on what the book's about. We want to have comparison titles that have similar tone. So, with that in mind, I'll discuss mine. If you have better suggestions, please let me know. My debut novel, Phelan and the Knight's Betrayal, which I'm seeking representation for, is about a banished princess who has to go through various trials under the coercion of her father with the support of a knight to reaffirm her title and also find her long lost brother. It's complex, there's multiple points of view, many of the narratives go on top of each other, so they layer up into one big conclusion at the end. Lots of tension, it's very queer, but it's also very gothic and horror. There's lots of sacrifices and rituals and magic, so trying to find two novels that encompass that, not the easiest thing in the world, but I think I've done it. So, book one, which will probably come as a surprise to absolutely nobody, is Nettle and Bone by T. Kingfisher. This is so fun. It's all about a woman who has many sisters who keep getting married off to this prince, and she's trying to avoid that marriage, and the crux of the trials in Phelan and the Knight's Betrayal is the same. She has to go through all these trials she doesn't want to go through because she's trying to avoid this marriage. So it's similar. The main reason I picked Nettle and Bone on top of this is there's a group of unlikely people working together. So in Nettle and Bone there's a grave witch with a chicken, and my headphones just ran out of battery, so if the audio sounds like shit, I apologise, I'm going to take them off. Nettle and Bone also has a very strong gothic undertone. There's lots of horror aspects, but it doesn't overtake the entirety of the novel. So there's gore, there's blood, there's horror, all of these things, but it doesn't overtake the crux of the novel, which I felt was very similar to Phelan. The other novel that I chose to compare with is All the Painted Stars by Emma Denny. As you can see, very different tones with these two. This is kind of the other side of Phelan and the Knight's Betrayal, where it's about a knight and a princess working together to avoid a marriage so that they can be together. And All the Painted Stars also has that kind of similar tone and plot in the centre of it, but it has a bit more of a cosy line going through it, which I think Phelan and the Knight's Betrayal meets. It has a bit of cozy vibes, a bit of found family going on in there, but there is some really strong horror aspects too. So that's how I chose my two comparison titles. If you can think of any better ones based on what I've said, please let me know. But what are your comparison titles? And give me some more books to read, because I need that. That's my goal this year. But yeah, thanks for joining Lauren Queries. Hopefully we'll do more of these. If you have questions about querying, please let me know and I will do my best to answer them as someone who is deep in the query trenches.